Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. I hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for an album review this Saturday. This time I'm reviewing the 6th studio album from Infected Rain. This is their release time, which came out yesterday via Napalm Records, and the album is 12 tracks and 54 minutes in length. So Infected Rain are made up of Lena Scissorhands on the vocals. You've got the introduction of Alice Lane on the bass guitar to the band, Vadim Vidic Ojog here on the guitars, and Ijin Voluta on the drums as well. And there's been a bit of a lineup change in the fact that you've had one of the guitarists has left and the bass guitarist had left as well, and Alice Lane has come in for him. And you know, these Infected Rain have always been a band for me that have had a huge amount of potential, and I've always felt like they've released some great singles in previous albums like Ecdysis and like Endorphin, for example, but I've never really feel like they've fulfilled that potential quite. It's always felt like the final products, those, you know, previous albums that I just mentioned, just feel like they've got a lot of great stuff in them, but they never feel quite complete as albums. Like there's still just something lacking. There's still the complete product. That final kind of masterworks hasn't felt quite there yet with this band for me. That's where I think that all changes with this album, because this album is really great for most of its runtime. I do have a very minor criticism about the last sort of quarter, the last couple of tracks maybe, which I'm going to come on to when I go into the tracks a little bit more. But this album really does, I think, fulfill the promise that this band have always had. I mean, with the Lena Scissorhands vocals, for me, some of the best harsh vocals here in the business. I mean, she does fry screams, I think, like no one else, whichever gender we're talking about here. She does fry screams like no one else to me. I think they're really powerful, and they have been a selling point for this band for me for, you know, pretty much since the start of this band. I love Vadim Ojog's guitar work on this album. It feels very focused. I feel like also the introduction of Alice Lane coming in has done something, certainly, to maybe, I don't know, it's one of these examples in metal history maybe where a lineup change has worked in the favour of this band, because the music is really good. It's like there's a patience with this album. It's like they've really taken time, no pun intended, to actually figure out how the album will really work as a structured album, and, you know, not just going for lots of big moments, actually really thinking about how the tracks would best benefit from particular nuances and changes and subtle tempo variations and things like that. It's all been put into this album, and as a result you've got an album which really actually delivers, as I say, the promise I think Infected Rain have had for a while. And I'm delighted, I'm really pleased, because I think this is the kind of band that often looked down on by metal elitists, and this album definitely sticks a finger up at metal elitists that look down on this band, because this is the album that this band, I think, we've been waiting for quite some time. Again, no pun intended there at all. So yeah, I'm really pleased about this album. I think I'm going to go into the tracks a bit more, as I usually do at this point in the reviews, just go through a few of my favourites, because I Let You, the album opener, is, you know, displaying a lot of the strengths this band have always had, I think. And I love the lyrics, actually, the chorus of this, which is sort of displaying the contrast of experiencing love for me, where it says, "Love, a thorny rose with petals red. It feels so good, it hurts so bad." I mean, yeah, I mean, that's exactly for me. You know, it captures the theme of love pretty well in that one chorus there. I absolutely love that song. Obviously, the video has that really emotional moment, which a lot of people are talking about, where Lena is showing just her vulnerability and exactly how she's feeling after she gets through the song. I love Lighthouse in this album. It's this sort of exhibiting Lena's more cleaner singing side, doing it very well, I think. And again, there are little nuances in this track you listen to, and it shows the band really worked hard, I think, on how they put together each song on this album. I love The Answer Is You. It's just super aggressive. It's just got this fantastic ending to it as well, I think, that I really enjoyed. Pandemonium, and there's like this run of tracks sort of towards the sort of the third quarter of this album, Pandemonium, Enmity and Unpredictable, which I think have some of the best aggressive work on this album, and great guitar riffage and changes and stuff which I think I'm going to really want to revisit on repeat listens. And this is where I get to my very minor criticism I pointed out earlier in the review, that I think the album just doesn't quite, it's such a shame it doesn't quite go right to the end as keeping up the momentum. For me, I think the problem is largely with track 10 or 11 rather, Porna, where it just sort of slows down a bit. The track feels a bit long, and then you get the ambient song at the end, and I like the ambient track at the very end of this album, but coming after that penultimate track, it just feels just not quite, you know, like it's quite fits with this whole album. I think, you know, just trimming off maybe that particular song, you know, or having the ambient track finish after maybe Game of Blame or Unpredictable, I think would have just made this album that bit stronger as a whole experience. But don't get me wrong, I still think that this is their magnum opus, as I indicate in the thumbnail of this video. I think this is this band's strongest point, and perhaps by a fair distance. Like, this is the band realising, for me, what they can really do. And like I say, maybe that lineup change has worked some magic here, because I think, you know, I did give a very positive review to Ecdysis, I'm conscious of that, but this one is just, for me, their masterworks. So I'm giving this album, I think, an 8.5 out of 10. Had it just kept up the momentum for me right to the end, or maybe just been a little bit shorter, I think I'd be giving this a 9. But it's just not quite, just not quite there with I've been giving a couple of 9s recently on the channel, but that's not the reason I'm not giving it a 9. Just for me, had it just kept up that momentum, just right to the end, this would be an absolute, you know, total undisputed 9 out of 10 for me. So yeah, I love this album. Can't wait. It's got lots of replay value. Highly recommend you check this one out. If you're new to Infected Rain, this is probably their best album, so not a bad place to start. And yeah, until next time, hope everybody's enjoyed this review. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub. I'm super close to 500 now, so if you do sub, I'm absolutely thrilled that you've subbed, because you get it, hopefully just get me that bit closer to that milestone, which is a big milestone for this channel. This channel's been around for a little while now, so that'd be awesome. Otherwise, from me, thanks everybody as always. Until next time, I've got my top 10 metal ballads coming up on the channel very soon. Really looking forward to that one. It's the season for sentiment, the season for romance. So ballads feel like it's a good time for a good old ballad, right? So until then, bye for now.